offense. No matter your goal, Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is here to make it happen. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Insurance companies often discourage people from getting an attorney. If I can't get you more, even after our fee, then you owe us nothing, not even our costs. I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
LA 21-12670. Offices in Baton Rouge.
WNXX, Jackson, KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers. LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge.
You can hear all of your favorite shows on 104.5 ESPN in crystal clear high definition. Tune to 98.1 and select HD2. Hannytime. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. Here's Charles Hannegriff.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Mario Jerez, Jacob Beck here with you. Hope that you had a good weekend, fellas. You enjoy. I don't know. What did you guys do?
Honestly, pretty low key weekend, Hanny. Just stayed inside, watched some basketball, hung out with family. It was good.
We tried to play golf. We were down at the Nicholas Bolner Foundation annual golf tournament, which is our director Barry told us said, "Welcome to the Nicholas Bolner Foundation golf tournament, where it rains every year." Man, 4 days worth of beautiful weather, and then Saturday the sky just exploded down near Morgan City. But we did sneak in 11 holes, give or take, but we raised some money for a great cause, so that was good. Got a chance we watched the Kentucky Derby. We watched a lot of basketball. We watched it rain quite a bit, so we watched horse racing and basketball while we were waiting on the rain. We also it gave us ample time with the 8 o'clock start Saturday night that we had time to get back and dry off before we started watching LSU and Auburn. So I got this more than anything in the last 24 hours about, LSU loses baseball games, and, well, it's like the world ending, only much, much worse. Should I? Because I said, there were some good things that happened this weekend, but of course they happened back on Friday mostly. So that's like 2 games in the rearview mirror. So I said, well, how do you go about doing the show? All right. Do you start with the good stuff and then go to the bad stuff? You start with the bad stuff and go to the good stuff. And, well, I know how you're supposed to build it in the crescendo. I just decided, what the hell, I'm going to go in chronological order. How's that from what we saw this weekend? And so that means starting with the good. I should probably start with the bad. That's how we did the podcast this morning, by the way. You got a full Baseball at the Box podcast presented by Napa Auto Parts. Dan Canavera had some really interesting things, I thought, to say about LSU's pitching, of which there's enough to be concerned about. Let me say this from the outset. This is still an outstanding team. This is still a team that can accomplish everything that they want to accomplish. This is a team that lost a series that happens to everybody. Everybody in the Southeastern Conference has lost a series this year. This just happens to be the first time LSU has. Vandy lost their series this weekend. Florida lost their series this weekend. South Carolina lost their series this weekend. This kind of stuff happens. You can say that, okay, this is still a really good team, and this is also a team that has some very serious problems, okay? Those two things can both be true at the same time, and I think today that there are. So I'm just going to go in chronological order. I've told you enough times to really appreciate Paul Skeens. You're going to get one more regular season chance to get out and see him this weekend, and then in the postseason. And his 15 strikeouts on Friday night, one of the most dominant performances that we've seen all season, really in any season. When you throw 7 1/3 shutout innings and you strike out 15, you've really done something special. But Skeens has been special all year. He stays on pace to break Ben McDonald's 34-year-old strikeout record, not just at LSU, but in the Southeastern Conference. He's been a machine, and it's important to remember that he's not a machine. He's, a a college-age kid that just happens to be ridiculously talented and mentally grounded. And I've run out of superlatives for him. He's just he is the most important player that LSU has right now, and I say that with the number one draft pick, the likely number one draft pick in the major leagues, sitting there, batting in the 3-hole, or yesterday in a 2-hole. But even with that, Skeens is undoubtedly LSU's most important player. Bigger out of Friday night, I thought, was the performance of Thatcher Hurd, who came in and shut Auburn down in the ninth. It wasn't a one-run game, but I still think that there was some pressure on Hurd to go out there. If you go out and you put the first guy on, and Auburn starts to get a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum, that can get hairy in a hurry. And he goes 3 up, 3 down, couple of strikeouts. He looked fantastic. The temptation is going to be to move Hurd back into the starting rotation. I'm not sure I'm ready to do that, but with what happened to Christian Little on Sunday, the question's got to be asked, and I would understand either way if they did it. If Little's going to pitch the way he did yesterday, and the number of times this season where he's just walking way too many guys. He's been walking way too many guys for weeks now, but he's been getting away with it a little bit. Yesterday, they didn't let him off the hook. I'm not sure that's the move, but they're going to have to make a move. Maybe it's Thatcher Hurd. Personally, they just got Thatcher Hurd right over the last 3 outings. I'm not sure I'd mess with the molecules too much here, but that's a real tough decision for Jay Johnson. He's trying to find a number 3 pitcher. He's trying to find a number 2 pitcher. And really, what I would do, I think, if I were Jay Johnson, was when I got to turn in my lineup to the Southeastern Conference on Thursday about what my pitching rotation is going to be, it would be Skeens on Friday, Floyd on Saturday, and TBA on Sunday. And let me see how the first 2 games go, and then I'll let you know. And sometimes coaches do that as a matter of strategy, which I think is a little sketchy, and this conference has tried to crack down on that by making you tell us something. I think this would be a legitimate thing at this point, is to say, let me see who I got to use in relief on the first 2 nights, and then I'll make up my mind on Sunday morning or Saturday night after the game. But the performance by Thatcher Hurd was terrific. Trey Morgan carried the offense, and that was Friday. Saturday's game started out like $1 million for LSU. The first 3 innings were as good as I have seen Ty Floyd look. I looked at a friend of mine, we were watching the game, and I said, what's gotten into Nuke? Because, the first time Nuke LaLoosh, if you saw the movie, he goes out there and he's just mowing them down, and the manager looks over and is like, what's going on with him? Well, he's breathing through his eyelids. Okay, well, for the first 3 innings, Floyd was breathing through his eyelids. And then came the balk call. All right. LSU's dugout was aggravated because they felt like Tommy Vail was balking, and he probably was. And the strike zone was a little bit tight, and it probably was. And so, they run somebody from the dugout, and that's when all of the confusion ensued. Who are you throwing out? The guy in gray. Really? Okay. This is like throwing out the guy at the Oscars that's wearing a tuxedo. Which guy? They're all wearing gray. Okay. And then, so by the time they finally got that whole thing worked out, I really felt like Floyd lost his rhythm, that it was that. He was cruising along, looked fantastic, and all of a sudden, something went sideways. And this just happened to be the umpires kind of losing control there for a minute. You're going to throw somebody out of the game. If somebody has done something egregious enough to be run out of the game, you should at least know who it is. That's just me. Okay? That's just me. But I thought it really threw Floyd off. And, if you watch Ty Floyd pitch, there are times where he looks like as good a pitcher as there is in the league. But also, he is easily rattled. There are some pitchers can erase the things that happen bad to them. You give up a bloop hit, you don't get a strike call, it's right on the borderline, and they can just erase it, flush it, whatever you want to say, and move on to the next guy. Floyd doesn't do that. More often than not, it stays with him. And, when things are going great and he gets in that rhythm, get ball, throw ball. But if something goes wrong, an umpire's call, a little bloop hit, a guy in gray getting thrown out of the game, it rattles him, and it did, and they end up getting him out of the game. Watching the first 3 innings, I said, man, Floyd's going to get deep here. He's going to get LSU into the 6th, 7th inning, and they're going to be in pretty good shape bullpen-wise. That didn't happen. Then Javen Coleman, after Gavin Guidry got him out of the inning, Javen Coleman came in, and this is where I thought LSU's weekend right now can go in a couple of different directions. If Coleman can run out here and they win the series, then that's going to be great. He had taken a step forward in every one of his appearances since coming back from the injury. This was the step back. And whether the curveball just wasn't biting there, whatever, Coleman didn't pitch particularly well. And after that, you kind of had this conga line going, to the mound, and LSU gave up enough runs to find themselves behind in a game that they had led twice. That combined with the fact that LSU left 14 runners on base. Leaving 14 runners on base should bother you. It doesn't bother me. You know why? Because they're unlikely to do that again. Okay? That to me, that's just baseball. All right? There are going to be days where you get 5 hits, but they all came with runners on base and you score enough runs to win. And there are going to be games where you have 12 hits and 5 walks, and you still can't get, and a couple of hit batters, and you still can't get more than 6 runs home because you didn't get hits with people in the clutch. I'll take that amount of base runners every day against anybody, and LSU is going to get hits way more often than they're not. The pitching stuff bothers me more because after Skeens, I'm not really sure what I'm going to get from outing to outing. That offense, they may have a bad game. They may even have a bad series. And if the bad series comes at the wrong time, well, that happens too. Happened to Tennessee last year, happened to Arkansas 2 years ago. I can't do anything about that. I'll just keep putting those guys out. Do we really think Dylan Cruz is going to have another weekend where he only gets 2 hits? I mean, you're not going to take him out of the lineup, are you? I mean, come on. So just understand that they're human, and they're not always going to get hits with runners in scoring position. They didn't in the game on Saturday night. They lost. Sunday was a disaster, and this is the real fear that LSU baseball has right now. This is game 3. This is the game that's going to be a championship game potentially in a regional. That's going to be the championship game potentially in a super regional. And Paul Skeens can't pitch it. He's got to pitch the marble game in the regional. He's got to pitch game 1 or game 2, likely game 1, in the super regional. After that, you got to have somebody else that wins this game. And game 3, in a regional or a super regional, is not going to be pitched by Paul Skeens, and it's unlikely it's going to be pitched by Ty Floyd. Right now, I don't know who that guy would be. But Christian Little was the guy that they were hoping would continue to, would move forward. Gigantic step backwards. And right now, the guy can't find the plate. This is 2 weeks, not just 2 weeks in a row, multiple weeks where the walk total just gets to him. He only gave up 1 hit, but he can't find a strike zone. You can't. Right now, you can't keep moving him out there as a starter. You got to move him back to the bullpen. You got to try to get him right. You got a couple of midweek games left, but you can't run him out there next Sunday. You just can't. Equally disappointing was the fact that Griffin Herring came out, obviously felt a lot of pressure in that situation. He couldn't get the ball over either. It's 6-1 at the end of the first inning, and the game is essentially over. Not because 6 runs is insurmountable for LSU, but because they had used a ton of bullpen the night before, and you knew Auburn wasn't through scoring. If you say, well, LSU can come back from a 5-run deficit, they can. But it wasn't going to be a 5-run deficit. If you get to Sunday and on Friday night you've used up Thatcher Hurd, maybe they could have brought him back, I don't know. And then on Saturday you use Guidry and Coleman and Collins and Cooper and Dutton, and then you come on to Sunday and you've used up Little and you've used up Herring and you don't have any outs, they're going to score some more runs at that point. So I thought that, this weekend was, I don't want to say it was inevitable, but every team loses a series at some point. The 2009 team famously only lost one series the whole year, and it was to the team that finished last in the Southeastern Conference. They won the national championship. Vanderbilt lost 2 out of 3 at Alabama this weekend, a team that LSU just swept. Florida lost 2 out of 3 at A&M this weekend, a place where LSU won the series. South Carolina got swept at Kentucky this weekend, a team that LSU beat in the series. 2 weeks ago, South Carolina looked like they might be the best team in the country. They have now lost 5 out of 6 in the league. 2 weeks ago, Arkansas got swept at Georgia. Remember how surprising that was. And since then, they've won 6 straight, including a sweep against Mississippi State this weekend. So this stuff happens. The runners being left on base, while it's bothersome for that game, I don't think is anything close to being a trend. It was just one of those games. But the fact that there's way too many pitchers on the staff that are just walking way too many people. You walk 6 guys in an inning through 2 pitchers, and you just can't win baseball games that way. I don't care if it's, Ruth, Gehrig, and DiMaggio batting in your lineup. You walk 8 guys on Saturday, on Sunday, and you walk 7 guys on Saturday. And you don't walk anybody on Friday night. You walk 1 because Skeens is pitching. All right, LSU number 4 in the RPIs, are number 2 in all the polls. Wake Forest took 2 of 3 against Boston College, who is a ranked team this weekend. Demon Deacons are the new number 1 team in the country. Couldn't possibly matter less. Now, will LSU win the conference, and does that matter? Well, I'm never going to say winning the Southeastern Conference doesn't matter. It matters. You put a pennant up somewhere. You put a sign on the wall, and you say, hey, we're Southeastern Conference champions. Are they going to win the league? I don't know. Vanderbilt is 17-7. Arkansas is 17-7. LSU is 16-7. The schedule certainly sets up favorably for the Tigers. Arkansas has South Carolina this weekend. They finish at Vandy. Vandy goes to Florida this weekend, goes home to play Arkansas. Florida has Vandy at home this weekend, goes to Kentucky to finish the season, while LSU finishes at home against Mississippi State and at Georgia. If you asked me to go and put together a schedule that was for the last 2 weeks of the season, hey, you, LSU guy, who do you want to play? This is 2 of the 3 teams that I would want to play. I throw Missouri in there for Georgia, but that's about it. Who do you want Arkansas to have to play? I want them to have to go to Vandy, and I want them to have to play South Carolina because South Carolina is going to bounce back. They're too good a team, right? They lost 5 out of 6. Arkansas has won 6 in a row. Guess what? Like South Carolina in this series. Vandy, what do you want them to do? Well, I want them in Florida to have to play each other. Fantastic. They play Arkansas. Who do you want Florida to have to play with? They're going to play Vandy, and they can't play Arkansas. Then who's the next best team? Give me Kentucky. All right, so they play Kentucky. This is as good as you can get set up. Whether they win the league, they don't win the league, they're still going to be a top 8 national seed. They just got to do a little bit of work this week. Get out, get the midweek game, get to feeling a little bit better, and play a reeling Mississippi State club that has lost 6 in a row coming into Alex Box Stadium this weekend. So don't feel like you have to be on one side or the other. It's fence post straddling day, Mario, okay? Most of the time you tell us, take a stand, man. Either LSU's fine, they're great, they're going to win a national championship, or these guys stink, they ain't got enough pitching to get themselves out of a Southeastern Conference weekend. You do not have to be with both feet firmly planted in either one of those camps. We'll take a break. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Hey, it's Matt Musso. Join me Monday through Friday for your daily update on LSU baseball with Musso at the Box, presented by New Orleans Flooring, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, and check out New Orleans Flooring. 2 locations, Metairie and Prairieville, or NOLAFlooring.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you can run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like this Wall Street.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Tuesday's OTB. LSU looking to bounce back in the midweek. Plus, latest from the NBA playoffs, as well as a little LSU football. Also, we got Nick Underhill coming on to talk Saints. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Pretty good weekend for basketball. LSU started us off on Friday, securing the commitment, the women's basketball team of Anissa Morrow from DePaul. The All-American, the double-double machine there. It's a decent club that they've got coming up. The favorites now to win the national championship after Haley Van Lith and Anissa Morrow added to. I don't know that I've ever seen a team win the national championship, have the number one recruiting class and the number one transfer class. Not that transfer classes have been a thing for all that long. We used to just call them transfers. You know, you get one, you might get two, all right? But we didn't consider them classes. Now they're as important, or maybe more important, than the recruiting classes themselves. Mr. Jerez, the dates have now been set for the national champions to visit the White House. Yes.
Yes, it has been. Let me get confirmation.
They're going to be there at the 20-something
this month
of May.
That's
yeah,
right.
I'm sorry. I thought you were looking right at it. The day is not as important to me as who they're visiting with.
Yes.
They're visiting with the men's national champions, UConn, right?
That's right. And that will be on May 26th.
So May 26th, yeah.
Yes, sir.
So if you're Kim Mulkey, do you like, you give one of their reps, you just say, hey, come over here. I've got a little note for you. Pass this to Gino when you get back to stores, huh?
Yeah, that LSU.
And just the note would be, you really wanted to be snarky about it, you just send a copy of next year's roster and deposit and put love Kim. See you in Cleveland. One of those deals. Actually, the NBA playoffs was what I was. Although all of that was true that happened yesterday. The NBA playoffs were fantastic. If you were able to break away from the baseball game, which ended earlier than it was supposed to because of the run rule and was actually over way before that, you got to see Sixers and Celtics in what was a fantastic game, and the Suns beat the Nuggets in what was another really good game, and both of those series tied at 2 now. I still expect that the Celtics will win this series. I still expect that the Nuggets will win this series. But either one of these series could have essentially been ended yesterday. But we saw some heroics. We saw James Harden, who is thrown back the clock, right, in this series in games 1 and game 4, and Devin Booker, I don't think has missed a shot in like a week and a half. He is there is on fire, and then there is what Devin Booker is doing in the last 2 games. He is 34 for 40, I think it is, or something along those lines. Last night, he was 14 out of 18 and 3 out of 4 from 3-point range. This is, all-time great stuff that we're seeing out of these teams. So those games, fantastic yesterday. I'm waiting to see. Unfortunately, we got to talk about something off the court because Joker went over to grab the ball yesterday that had gone into the stands. Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets. The ball had gone into the stands, and it had been retrieved there, caught by Matt Ishbia, who is the new owner of the Phoenix Suns, been there just a couple of months. And Jokic went to get the ball. Ishbia was kind of holding it. This whole exchange took like less than 3 seconds. But Jokic did what, you would ordinarily do, which is when you get a ball and somebody's up crowding you, just kind of, gives him a little shiver, little forearm shiver. I'm not for players being able to touch people in the stands. I understand there might be a no tolerance policy, but this is on Adam Silver's desk right now. If he suspends Joker for Game 5, I'm done with him. I'm done with him. Okay. There's been some decisions that he's made over the last year or so that I have not agreed with at all, but it's that's not what I'm here to talk about today. You don't suspend that guy. There's a reason that this is commissioner's discretion. Okay. If Jokic, who kind of feigned ignorance in the postgame, was like, he's a fan. He's the owner. He's a fan. Okay. I don't know. And he's a new fan. I mean, this is not like one of the more visible owners in the NBA. This is not like if, 20 years ago, Dr. Jerry Buss was sitting courtside, okay? This guy's been an owner for 2 months. So he takes the ball. He's trying to start the break. He sees the Phoenix guy is laid out in the stands. He's trying to get a 5-on-4. Okay. Well, it's the playoffs. Do that. So there's a little bit of leeway here for the commissioner. He can suspend him. He can fine him. He can do neither. I give Ishbia credit. The former walk-on basketball player at Michigan State, by the way, was on their national championship team with Team Cleaves. He said, I don't want Jokic suspended. He said, this has been a great series. Suspending or fining anyone over last night's incident would not be right. Good for him. On the board, on the verge of saying, hey, first class, at least. Now, he could have just let the ball go, I guess. But, I mean, we're not talking about him holding it and trying to put it under his seat, right? This whole thing took 3 seconds. And we're going to slow it down frame by frame like the Zapruder film, right? And Jokic's forearm shiver in super slow motion. Looks like he's hitting the guy, all right? It's not like the 7-footer wound up and waylaid him, okay? He's trying to get the ball. He takes the ball. His forearm comes out. He gives him a little shove. And we're on with our business. Adam Silver, do the right thing. Just say, hey, listen, heat of the moment, 3-second exchange, nobody hurt, move on. Let's not turn this into the Malice at the Palace, okay? That's not what this is. Great series so far. Don't screw it up. We'll take a break. We lost Louisiana native, one of the all-time greats. We'll talk about that when we come back at the passing of Vida Blue. This is Hannytime 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill. We'll be there tonight for Jimmy Ott's Game Time starting at 6 o'clock. Our weekend lineup is set. Friday, the Honky Tonk Playboy is there, and Saturday, Kyle Wilson. You can always count on live music at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill every weekend. Tonight, also, it's all-you-can-eat boiled shrimp that starts at 5 o'clock and goes all the way through closing time tonight. It's May. That means graduation parties. If you want to rent out one of the rooms, family-friendly, multiple-size party rooms at Big Mike's. They'll also do off-site catering if you want to have your event, your little party for the graduate at your home. They'll cater for you and have you carry it out. Monday through Friday, happy hour drink specials from 3 until 7, and on Sundays it starts at 11 a.m. and goes all day. If you're out to watch the baseball, the basketball, the golf, the NASCAR, do it at Big Mike's. On Aspen Boulevard in Denham Springs, Big Mike's will be there tonight. They're kind of a big deal.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $15,000 off plus 0.9% APR for 60 months on all new 22 Ford F-150 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Capiscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We're recapping Tigers, the LSU Auburn baseball series from the Plains. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of the all-time greats from Major League Baseball and a Louisiana native passed away this weekend. Vida Blue, who was a three-time World Series champion with the Oakland A's, a former Cy Young Award winner, a three-time World Series champion, a six-time All-Star, and he won an MVP. It's very difficult for a starting pitcher to win an MVP, but he did back in 1971. He was born in Mansfield, Louisiana, and played up in from Mansfield in DeSoto Parish. He actually played for DeSoto High School in Mansfield. He played baseball. He's a quarterback on the football team. And Vida Blue was one of the hardest throwers and most intimidating pitchers in Major League Baseball for most of the 1970s. Roger Cador, long-time head baseball coach at Southern University, joins us now. He knew Vida Blue. Coach, it's so good to have you with us. Good afternoon. How are you?
Doing good, Hanny, and yourself?
Doing fantastic. Vida Blue, for those that never saw him pitch, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't see him pitch until very late in his career. But when Vida Blue was at his best, there was nobody better. And, Coach, what I've always heard about Vida Blue in his prime was he threw as hard as anybody in the game, including Nolan Ryan, except Vida Blue threw from the left side. So what are your memories of him, and how did you know him?
Well, let me give you a little go back when he was at DeSoto High in Mansfield, Louisiana. Southern signed him to a baseball scholarship, in nationality, a scholarship back then, And obviously Charlie Finley came in and signed him to that contract. But he was going to, had Charlie Finley not signed him, Vida Blue would have ended up at Southern. Isn't that a pretty good little story there? You know what I'm saying?
And he had any number of – he was recruited to play college football. I didn't know this until I was doing my research today. He had scholarship offers to play football at a number of big schools, including Notre Dame. So I did not realize how good of a high school quarterback he was before this. So the man had options when he graduated from high school. He could have been a college football player, baseball player, probably could have done both, or he could have gone pro, which is what he did, and he played for those great Oakland teams, winning 3 World Series titles back in the early 1970s.
Yes, he did. And the thing is, I saw him when he was at the top of his game. I had a chance to visit with him, and he was such a lovable person, friendly and everything, a Louisiana type guy, you know what I'm saying? And so he and I talked. We talked about the situation with Southern and all of that. And, the other ironic is a couple of years after he signed, there was another player that Southern signed from North Louisiana to a baseball scholarship, J.R. Richards. Can you imagine had both of those guys come to Southern, what Southern might have been? It's just, but back in the days, that's what happened.
I was telling Mario right before we started, I said, Vida Blue, if you go back to the 1970s, probably the 3 hardest throwers in the big leagues were Nolan Ryan, Vida Blue, and J.R. Richard. And Richard, played for the Astros. And who knows what his career might have been had he not had the stroke and the medical complications that came after that. Give me an idea of what it was, for those that never saw him pitch, what it was like to look at Vida Blue throwing 99 from the left side when nobody was doing that.
Well, the thing about it, Haney, is that he was fluid with it, smooth. It wasn't like he was straining. You know how some people max effort to throw?
Yeah.
His pretty fluid, and the ball came out of his hand. Just such a beautiful thing. And I could understand now why Charlie O wanted him to give him $5,000 to change his name to True Blue. You got me, Charlie O. I could see why. He saw the selling possibility, you know?
Charlie Finley was one of the great marketers of baseball, but he was also a notoriously, let me see what's a good word I can come up with, cheap owner. And eventually, Vida Blue leaving the Oakland A's was over money because Finley didn't want to pay him.
Didn't want to pay him. You know, he had traded him to Boston. You remember when Bowie Kuhn nullified that deal?
Yeah. He was trying to basically sell off the Oakland A's championship team for parts, and the commissioner had to step in and put the nix on that. Coach, he pitched a no-hitter in the big leagues. He's one of only 5 guys to start the All-Star game for both the National League and the American League. I was actually surprised. In my head, he was in the Hall of Fame. He's not. He's in the A's Hall of Fame. He's in the Giants Hall of Fame, but he's not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. I'd like to ask why. He won over 200 games. Nobody could argue that Vida Blue was not one of the most dominant pitchers of the 1970s. Now, he didn't win 300 games, but he won 200 with over 2,000 strikeouts and an ERA that was down in the low 3s. So I'm not sure what the thinking was there, but in my mind, he was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and in my mind, he was too. The thing, he started that All-Star game in Old Tiger Stadium in 1974. And you know what happened in that game, or was it 71?
It was 71, but
71.
it was in Detroit's Tiger Stadium.
Right.
And
oh my goodness, he gave. I think he gave up 2 or 3 home runs, but they were all Hall of Famers who hit the home run off of him. And it all goes back. Hank Aaron, I think, hit one off of him. But it goes back to the conversation I had with Hank Aaron. How did you start hitting so many home runs later in your career? He said, because of live on pitchers. The live on pitchers made my career lasted longer. Isn't that amazing?
It really is. Let me give you the lineup for the National League. He was the AL starting pitcher that year. Okay, the guy that led off for the American League in 1971 was Willie Mays. They had Hank Aaron hitting in the 2-hole. Joe Torre was in the 3-hole. Willie Stargell was hitting cleanup. Willie McCovey was hitting 5th. Johnny Bench was hitting 6th. Roberto Clemente was hitting 7th. And Pete Rose came off the bench. That was one of the most famous All-Star games because that's the one where Reggie Jackson hit the ball over the right field upper deck. He hit the ball 500-plus feet. He hit it clear out of Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
So that was a famous game.
Kurt Gotti was calling that game. I don't know if you remember the famous announcer, Kurt Gotti.
I remember Kurt Gotti. I was not in 1971, Coach. I was about to be born, so no, I didn't get to watch the game, but I certainly know about the great Kurt Gotti. But they sent Vida Blue out. Mays, Aaron, and Torrey and Stargell. That's the first 4 in the lineup. Man, Vida Blue's legacy will go down as one of the greats. I know he had some problems later in his career, Coach, but to achieve what he did, and like I said, like you said, the almost coming to Southern University. For somebody who was the son of what they said was he didn't go to college because he signed for the money. His father was a laborer. He's one of 6 kids. The pressures on him to earn, and also to let's be real honest, to be a black man pitching in Major League Baseball at that time, or in college baseball at that time, wasn't the easiest thing with what was going on in the country at the time.
It was not. And, you mentioned he took the money because of the fame thing. And that's probably one of the things. His daddy probably worked all his life and didn't get paid. Sort of like my daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I know the story. I lived it, so I know the struggle. But, Vida got a chance. He has special talent. And fortunate, he was able to pitch and pitch in the big leagues and did well enough where he was considered to be a Hall of Famer in your mind, in my mind. You got me?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really something. And he was playing at a time when black ball players were really Hall of Famers. They had a whole bunch of black Hall of Fame players around him. We talked about the lineup, but there were other players, that played in the league that was really good players. So he has some kind of a support system there, whether or not it worked to his advantage or disadvantage, I don't know. But there was a support system there at times when you needed it.
Coach, we appreciate you sharing some thoughts on it. Vida Blue passed away this weekend at the age of 73. He was living out in California. He kept his home out in the Bay Area because he played for the Giants as well as the A's. So he made his home in the Bay Area. I know he did some broadcasting on baseball and stuff like that. But he was a great one. We appreciate you sharing the points with us today, and we'll catch up with you soon.
True Blue. Don't forget
True
that.
Blue.
There you go.
He would have got an NIL deal today.
That's right.
Don't you think?
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Coach. Coach Roger Cador. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll take some of your questions in the Bayou Ford chat. This is Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime.
Infinity of Baton Rouge. Right now, they're offering you cash for your vehicle. It'll take less than 15 minutes for a complete evaluation, and they will get you a quote on your vehicle in less than 15 minutes. At that point, you can sell it for cash. You can trade in on a new vehicle. If you get into the certified pre-owned, there's no pressure to buy, but you can go in there and just get a quote. But if you do get into the certified pre-owned program, we tell you about the benefits of it. A year of prepaid maintenance, a complimentary car when you bring your car in for service, and the roadside assistance program gives you that peace of mind if you have older drivers, younger drivers, that they can get help if they do get into a problem. Long, comprehensive inspection to get these vehicles back up to speed. It will get you a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty to go with it. Transparency in prices. It's a very, very smooth, easy, relaxed, comfortable buying experience. I know because we've done it a number of times with our family, and again, just a few months ago. Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Cold in Baton Rouge. Operator, what you put me on through? Gotta send my love down the
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and 7 have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast office products.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated.
Jimmy Ott, Charles Hanniger for the Monday edition of Game Time. We're at Big Mike Sports Bar and Grill in Denham Springs, recapping all the weekend Kentucky Derby, LSU baseball, and NBA playoffs. It's right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hannytime with Charles Hanniger on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In the Bayou Ford chat, some questions, and some people remembering their recollection of Vida Blue. Yes, he was recruited to play quarterback at Notre Dame, as well as some other schools. He could have played college football very, very easily. The Oakland A's team that they had that won 3 consecutive World Series was one of the greatest runs in the history of baseball. But Charlie Finley, who was a master promoter but was notoriously cheap, broke that team up. Vida Blue was on that team. Reggie Jackson was on that team. Long before he became a megastar with the Yankees, Jackson was one of the best power hitters in baseball with the Yankees. Catfish Hunter, who notoriously also went 15 rounds with Finley about his salary. And Sal Bando and Joe Rudy and Gene Tennis, Raleigh Fingers was on that team. It was a fabulous team, and Finley basically wanted to make more money off of them by selling off the players than he did with keeping the team together. Nookie says, ask Hanny, should we have adopted the optic yellow baseballs Charlie Finley pushed? Okay, so this was his idea to make the game more easily watchable on television. And of course it died on the vine, but he was always kind of like remember for a little while they had that little tail on the puck for hockey. This was way before we had all of these graphic enhancements that you can watch the game on TV. He thought that the yellow baseballs would be easier to see on television. That one did not take off at all, but he did a bunch of stuff. But Blue was, just one of the best pitchers in baseball at that time. Ask Hanny, what's up with all the horse deaths at the Derby? I don't know, but I certainly hope that they get to the bottom of this. And it's possible that, a couple of these injuries were sustained during the race, but some of them weren't. And I'm glad they're taking this thing so seriously. It took away from what was a fantastic race on Saturday. And Mage and Two Phils going down the stretch was Two Phils tried gallantly to fight back there and couldn't quite get there. Mage was the best horse, but this just took so much away from it. So I don't know what's going on, but I certainly hope that they find out what's going on, because it's what was the thing? It keep you up at night. It was one of the trainers said that. Ask Hanny, did you remember Hester's birthday? I didn't remember it because I didn't know it. Okay. In my defense, he didn't remember mine, and I don't remember getting anything from him. But that's one of those things where I don't know. I hardly know anybody's birthday because I'm not on Facebook. And, doesn't Facebook help me out here, Mario? Does Facebook send you, the thing, hey, these are everybody that you follow's birthday today, right?
Yes, I use that to remember a lot. I literally was at a Cinco de Mayo party, looked at Facebook, remembered it was my aunt's birthday, texted her happy birthday.
All right, now see, since you brought that up, I do have a very good friend, Jamie LeBlanc. His birthday is on Cinco de Mayo. I can remember that. If it was on March the 12th, I probably wouldn't. But if it's on March the 5th, yes, I can definitely remember that. So, I didn't remember Hester's birthday because I didn't know. I also don't know T-Bob's birthday. I don't know Hunt's birthday. I don't know Mario's birthday. I don't know Gordy's birthday. I do know Jimmy Ott's birthday. Do you know why I know Jimmy Ott's birthday?
No, tell me.
Because he doesn't know mine. I know Jimmy Ott's birthday for a very good reason. He's born the same day as my wife. That birthday, I have to remember, okay? This is in my best interest. So it's very easy. I wake up, I say, honey, happy birthday, and I go to work and I see Jimmy, like, hey, it's your birthday today, right? Yeah, okay, good deal. Going back to that All-Star game, those, Champ, you're not even a good troll anymore when you say that team couldn't stay on the field with if Mays and Aaron are two of my best hitters, I almost don't care who the other 7 were, but like 6 of them are in the Hall of Fame. Yes, I do believe they would stay on the field with the teams of today. All right, thanks to everybody for participating. We'll be out at Big Mike's tonight for Jimmy Ott's Game Time starting at 6 o'clock. So come on out and join us. It's All You Can Eat Ball Shrimp tonight starting at 6. And we got NBA and NHL games on tonight. For Jacob and Mario, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. This has been Hannytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.